Hey everyone, I have something awesome to show you guys today. We're in Assetto Corsa right now in VR with my wheel setup, and in front of me is Tokyo. Now this isn't a circuit race or some sprint map, this is open world, roughly 150 kilometers of highway modeled after the real Tokyo Expressway in Japan, known as the Shutoko. This is the Shutoko Revival Project, possibly the most ambitious mod in Assetto Corsa. While I cruise, let's just go over some basic info about this massive project and a bit about the real Shutoko. Shuto is a roughly 350 kilometer network of highways connecting the greater Tokyo area of Japan, and it services about 1 million vehicles a day. This project here aims to rebuild a massive portion of that expressway in incredibly accurate detail, while still remaining optimized enough to run on an aging game that was never really built to support huge open world maps. Currently, like I mentioned a minute ago, about 150 kilometers are drivable in-game now. You've got the full C1 loop, the so-called belt loop, the Bayshore line, also known as the Wangan, and the Yokohama line down to Yokohama and Daikoku Futo. So, if you're at least a little familiar with Japanese street racing culture, terms like the C1 and Wangan are probably familiar to you, but in case you're not, you're probably wondering why the heck people are pouring so much effort into recreating a highway network in Japan. And well, it's because of that street racing history. The Shuto is where illegal street racing was essentially born. Famous car gangs like the Midnight Club were formed here in the 70s and 80s, and most famously, the Wangan and C1 Loop are where they did their racing. This culture spawned the famous manga series Wangan Midnight, which has been adapted into movies, games, a TV series. It's kinda like Initial D's lesser known brother. I won't dive too deeply into the whole history of this culture, but if you're interested in learning a bit more about it, I highly recommend checking out some of the video links I've left in the description. There's a few really cool YouTube mini documentaries about this car culture. So, this project started, I believe, around October of 2018 and has been updated pretty regularly over the past year. The public server is on version 0.81, but there's a test build that's got a lot of extra goodies built into it with more road to drive, more world details and textures, all sorts of good stuff. The cars for the server are phenomenal as well. You've got the Porsche 944, super classic Wangan car, an R34 of course, this crazy looking RX-7 FD which I haven't driven yet but I hear is one of the easier cars to drive. There's an Integra, Civic, another super classic street racing car, a GTO, which I now know a lot more about because of my last car review, a nice S2000, an R32, Fairlady, the S30, an FC RX-7, S14, R33, my personal favorite, the MR2. This car rips and grips, and of course, finally an NSX as well. These are perfect cars to cruise Tokyo in, and now I've been holding back a bit on you guys so far. It's time to get a little bit sappy about this mod here. This is honestly the best experience I have ever had in a racing game. Assetto Corsa just keeps blowing me away with stuff like this. Someone reached out to me a few months ago to show me this mod. I downloaded it that same night and spent the rest of the evening driving Tokyo. It was such an amazing and realistic experience that I kept reaching for my turn signal when I would change lanes. And it's so relaxing in a way. This map doesn't just make you want to drive at top speeds, it makes you want to slow down a bit and see the sights and then do some pulls in a tunnel or pull over into a parking area to take a few snapshots. You can even add a traffic mod if you want for more immersion as well. There's so much care taken into making sure that this map is about as real as it can be. All the signs are the real signs, the toll booths, phone boxes, everything is taken from reality, and all that adds to the depth of this project. If you've spent enough time around Assetto Corsa mods, you'll know that a lot of cars and maps are kind of slapped together enough to get the idea right, but there will be a lot of clipping objects, broken collision data, or lazy textures and whatnot. It's just nice to see a mod, especially a mod this size, taking care to make sure everything is quality. And obviously we're still relatively early on here. A lot of roads are closed and textures are placeholders or early versions, but there's momentum behind this. The test build is constantly being worked on and updates are being pushed out regularly. The Discord server has something like 25,000 members on it, and the online community is active. There's always at least a handful of people willing to cruise with you. And just like with anything, the online experience is where the Shutoko Revival Project really shines. You boot up into Tatsumi #1 parking area, a real famous car meet spot. I mean, check out the Google image results. And there's usually a few other cars lined up waiting to roll out with a group. This parking area is on the east side of the belt loop, so you've got access to everything pretty easily. And the experience of driving online with people, it just feels so realistic. In most racing games, when you play with your buddies, you're, well, racing, or drifting, or rallying around, or whatever, but point is, it's usually not something you'd be doing in real life on a regular basis. But if you're a car guy, taking your car out for a drive, maybe seeing another car and doing a few pulls together, or just going on cruises with your friends or your car club, that's all real car culture stuff, and that's in many ways how this server operates. You can head out by yourself, maybe meet someone else on the road, or you can squad up with a dozen other drivers and have a blast doing pulls through tunnels, or honking to start a roll race, or just lining up and rolling around the C1. I've had so many great experiences so far. Racing a buddy when a Mark IV Supra just flew by both of us, cruising by myself and seeing a pack of RX-7s fly past me in the opposite lane, meeting up with a huge squad of Skylines just to drive the C1 loop. It's tough to explain how well this mod parallels the best moments of real car life, but the server manages to capture this side of car culture that I've never seen replicated before in a video game, and it's such a great escape for me in a way. It's winter right now where I live, and my car's down for an engine build anyway, so I haven't been able to scratch that driving itch so much, but hopping into my sim rig, popping on my VR headset, and transporting to Tokyo where I can roll with a ton of other people in badass cars, it's really something special. If you guys have Assetto Corsa and are at all interested in the Japanese side of car culture, this mod is an absolute must-have. I've only known about it for around a month, and I can't wait to keep playing it. I'm so excited to keep following its progress. I hope they end up expanding over to some of the areas I'm personally more familiar with driving, but we'll see. And I can't wait to see more and more polish added to the world. I've left a link for the official Discord down in the description where you can get all the needed downloads and instructions, and if you try out the mod and you like it, please consider donating to their Patreon, even for $1 a month. I made a Patreon account just so I could donate to this project. It's worth it. I mean, this is kind of an entire new game built into Assetto, all for free, and until we get the announcement that Horizon 5 is gonna be in Japan, well, this will have to do. Well guys, that just about wraps it up for this video. Thank you for checking this mod out with me. This probably won't be the last you see of it on my channel, and you'll definitely be seeing some more Assetto content creeping in there as well. This game just doesn't stop with the surprises. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the Wangan soon.